beautiful day. Brent is here dropping his work off in preparation for the Realism and Drawing show. And so we're going to have a little chat about your work and share a bit about your current collection. So the work that we have in the show is a bit of an extension of a series you've been working on for quite a few years now. When did you first begin the Listen series?
About 5 years ago.
About 5 years.
Yes.
And can you tell us just a quick little summary of how that started for you?
Trying to communicate some spiritual ideas and just some my own life experiences into something very simple and visual, and I was struggling to do it. And I just saw a picture of a woman with some headphones on, and this idea of putting God on the side is just a real simple statement.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of clicked. I know I had kind of hit a point probably about 8 or 9 months ago where I focused really completely on the realism aspect of things and this idea of getting it right. And there was I think part of the reason we love art as we do as artists is there's a certain control to it. You control the narrative, you control the space, the story. And I kind of hit this point that it's like I was just thinking about my work, and I'm like, most of the work was taking anywhere from 2 months to 4 months to complete a single painting, and the thought of that was just like, oh God. You kind of hit that point. I just wanted to do something where it was more about how I felt about the subject matter or the models, or just what I was working on, rather than the idea of I'm going to get it right.
Who are some of the subjects that we see in the recent paintings?
With the work I've done the last 8 months, it's been neat because I've done about 15 pieces, and that's the highest output I've ever done in 8 months. I'm usually lucky to do 3 or 4 pieces in that span.
Yeah.
But it's mostly other artists in various genres, whether they're visual artists, writers, musicians, yogis, just a lot of people are in my life, and what's the right word? Who influence me or push me a little bit, because I need that around me. And I think especially with this experience we've all been going through the last 3 or 4 months.
For sure, community is so important.
As a figurative artist or as a portrait artist, when you're told right off the bat you don't have access to models anymore, just for safety's sake, it makes you look at things a little differently and how are we going to do things. Like most of the models I worked with are friends from either in the States or various regions across the country, and figuring out how we're going to do photo shoots and doing all these different things. And it's forced me to kind of look at things a little differently and push a little more too. And like, it's the nice thing is wouldn't it be nice to paint this person sometimes? Well, I guess you can ask them. Yeah. Because there's no one here you can paint.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's kind of interesting for you to be painting these people in your life, these supports and inspirations in your life at this time when we're not seeing each other in person. It's kind of even more special. So Brent, let's talk a little bit about drawing, because of course this exhibition shares both painting, sculpture, and drawing. What's your relationship with drawing? Do you use it as a tool for laying out ideas, or more so as a finished product?
I don't think you can separate the two. Whether you're working abstractly or in a realist fashion, if you don't have solid drawing fundamentals, understanding space, color, how elements work together, it doesn't matter what your brushwork looks like or your eye for color or anything else, the piece isn't going to work.
You need that understanding.
Drawing is the fundamental of it, just fundamentals of everything. For me, it's both. I think that the hardest thing and the best thing of the work I've produced the last 6 to 8 months is letting go of that idea of getting everything perfect, which would be, just stand and trying to get everything shaded perfectly, and letting drawing sometimes is just loose mark making, and it's letting it be what the medium wants it to be, as opposed to trying to control everything. And that's been it's been a really interesting learning curve, knowing when not to do something. And I found that so many times starting, you put a mark down, or you just get a palette knife and just
Yeah.
And the initial reaction is, oh, I don't know. Well, instead of trying to correct it or control, just leave it.
Yeah, embrace it.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of, lots of artists talk about kind of that difficulty of starting or making that first mark when you have that pressure of what you're imagining it to be. So letting yourself be a little more free with those marks
Exactly.
creates, a different energy, I guess.
And that's a really scary thing. And I know so many of us in the realist community, I think a lot of the work came out, but like so many times you talk to somebody and it looks just like a photo and you appreciate it and then you go, oh no.
Yeah.
And it's letting go of that idea of being a little more expressionistic, bringing something more of yourself to it as opposed to being scholarly in it. You know, okay, this is how I feel about it rather than this is just me depicting it.
Yeah, well, it's a beautiful meeting point in the pieces that we've got in the show. I just want to talk about one more thing. We're going to be running an online drawing demo with you on Wednesday the 8th at 6:30. You're going to be sharing kind of a specific approach. Is that correct?
Yes.
So could you tell just a little summary of that?
We'll be working primarily on classical drawings, so basically setting the foundations of charcoal work and portraits.
Yeah.
Basically, I'll have the drawing kind of worked out and just working on building the foundations of shading and how you build form and shape. And basically, I'm trying to show all the mistakes I have made over the years.
Share those lessons.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we're really looking forward to that. And everyone can find the information for joining us for that demo on the Facebook event for that. Yeah. So thanks so much for chatting with us, Brent.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, us too.